everybody? Welcome to another GeneaVlogger stream. On today's live stream, I will be building the family tree for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Welcome, everybody. Hope you all are having a wonderful week. Been pretty good for me, getting lots of stuff done. Hoping to finally get a main channel video out soon. I've been working really hard at it, but let's go ahead and do our typical of saying hello to everybody because I see a lot of familiar names as usual. We have Anna Tommaso from Western New York. We'll be watching after the live stream, and I did see your comment come in before, so I guess you knew you'd just jump in for a second, but looking forward to having you watch in the future. Tasha coming from sunny Minnesota, finally stopped raining. Welcome, Tasha. We have Stig, one of our wonderful Scandinavians coming from Oslo Fjord. Not even going to try to pronounce what you... I'm guessing that's hello? I don't know how close I got it. Goedenavond vanuit Groningen for Nick Brokema. Hello, goedenavond. Goedenavond allemaal. Hope you're all having a wonderful day in the Netherlands out there. I guess it's just starting to get dark over there in Groningen. We have the Iron Storyteller. For context, FDR was president from March 4th, 1933, and his death on April 12th, 1945. And his cousin Theodore was president from William McKinley, day 5. I'm guessing something messed up there at the end. But yeah, one of the things I figured I might look at real quick for a bit, because I did look it up, is the connection between them, which they're actually fifth cousins, which is close but distant. You know, it's like, yeah, it's one of those interesting cousinships, I think, that's right there where it's close enough that, you know, you're going to have family members, like you might have grandparents on both sides who knew of each other, sort of thing, because they would have been third cousins or something like that. But yeah, all right, let's keep going. Matt Fast, good evening from Sweden. Good evening. Sharon Phillips coming in from New York. My boss went to an event Wednesday and met with his great-granddaughter. She's a lovely lady. Oh, wow. Boss still working and a great-grandparent, and you call the great-granddaughter a lovely lady, which makes me assume that she's at least a young adult, you know, at least maybe like a teenager. But I would assume probably, you know, someone in their 20s. So crazy, because then, you know, if she's a young lady, then presumably she might be able to have a child where he's still alive, and then he has a great-grandchild. All right, Eric Sheridan coming in from Kansas City, Missouri. Welcome, Eric, one of our regulars. We have Muggerock from Newfoundland, Canada. Newfie over here. Welcome. We have Evan Salp. I'm officially done with college. Congratulations, Evan. Turned in my last assignment earlier today, and my history thesis ended up great. Can't think of a better way to celebrate than watching your live stream. Well, that is an awesome way to celebrate. I'm humbled that this is the way that you want to celebrate completing your college degree. Not sure what degree you got, but either way, bachelor's, associates, master's, PhD, congratulations to you. And I guess everyone throw in some congratulations emojis for Evan. Next, Lifetime Brendan. Hello, welcome. One of our regulars. We have Mr. Fum. Keen to watch, first time watching one of your live streams. And I actually recognize the username because you're one of our more recent Discord members to join, which is a great point for me to shout out our Discord. For those unfamiliar, have a Discord where it's pretty active, lots of people helping each other. Got a few admins who kind of run things there a lot, which you may see them here: Blackberry Rose, Charlie, and Matt. They help me out a lot. But Mr. Fum, I've noticed you in the Discord, and maybe you can mention if you've liked it or not. But definitely go check it out. I think I have it in the description to join. Just a lot of fun. Stig, hello in Old Norse. Okay, did my pronunciation get anywhere close? I don't know. And then we have Gazillion PT, Boa Noite de Portugal. I have no idea if I pronounced that well, but I do know that Gazillion is our Portuguese representation coming from Portugal. And someone who's been watching for a long time. I recognize the name from way back. Eve Cotton from Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Eve, for joining. Wonderful to have you. And Evan, you got an undergrad history degree. That's awesome. Congratulations. And then Karma Gal coming in from Nebraska. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm sure my pronunciation was terrible. It's funny, I've been learning a lot of Dutch lately, and that's probably the one language right now that I'm actually getting decent at pronunciation. Decent. Probably not that decent. Okay. Okay, well, now that we've done a lot of that fun stuff, we're going to open up our tree. There we go. So, some of you may have noticed I have a poll going that I put up before I started the stream. Well, I guess I kind of started the stream, but it was before I started. And it was asking, where should we start? Well, it's supposed to say, where should we get started researching first? Apparently, I forgot to put the word get. Kind of makes it clunky. But if you haven't voted, vote. It's I see there's 19 votes, and I see we've got about 34. The numbers keep going up. So if you haven't voted, vote. I have 4 options up there, 2 of which are obviously taking the lead, but one is FDR's siblings. So the idea being that we would build out the family tree to look at all of his siblings and kind of build their families and kind of see a bit about them. The other option is FDR's children. So, building out all the family trees for his children, because apparently, I didn't even really realize this, but apparently I guess he had a lot of kids. So doing kind of descendancy research. And then the other 2 options, which are leading by a lot, and I'm guessing that's what the way we'll go, is researching the Roosevelt ancestry, so his paternal line, or researching the maternal ancestry, the Delano line. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Delano coming from his mother, Sarah Ann Delano. So, yeah. Cataly, hello. And then Iron Storyteller, you're right. That's what happened. Well, if you want to put the rest, I'll put it up on screen if I see it. Gazillion, by the way, off topic, was it my imagination, or did you, Jarrett, say some time ago that you thought you had ancestry in Villarreal, Portugal? Yes. So my Nunes Vaz line, and I don't even think I have the book up here. I think I have it downstairs. There's a book by Lionel Levy. Let's see. Here we go. So there is a book by Lionel Levy called oh wait, no, that's not it. It's in French, so it's always hard for me to. That one's not it. But okay, here we go. La Nation Juive Portuguese. So in this book, this is a book by a guy named Lionel Levy. Here we go. See if we can get a full size of that. I guess not. So this book by Lionel Levy, in it, there's a section on the Nunes Vaz family, which my family is the Nunes Vaz family. My mother was born Sandy Nunes Vaz. And in this book, Lionel Levy talks about the Nunes Vaz family. And one of the things that he mentions is that he had found multiple names of the Nunes Vaz family where it wasn't just Nunes Vaz, it was Nunes Vaz Villarreal or Nunes Vaz de Villarreal. And basically, I had someone who knew French translate the section because obviously it's in French. And basically what they said was that it alluded to that there were hints that the Nunes Vaz family, that there were members with the name Nunes Vaz de Villarreal, and that there were hints that the family had originally come from Villarreal. The only documentation we have on this family of where they actually came from in Iberia is Cadiz. And that has to do with I'm going to pull it up. This has to do with a marriage bond from Amsterdam in the 1700s of an Aaron Nunez Vaz getting married in 1727, and he lists that he is from Cadiz. So here's this record. Here we go. So here we go. So we have Aaron Nunez Vaz, Van Cadiz. And then it has all of this information. Yeah. So I'm from Villarreal. If you want to look into the records at all and see what's going on with that, I mean, that book specifically, I don't know if you speak French or have a way to get a hold of that book. I actually bought that book, and I ended up buying it off of Amazon, I think. But if you buy that book and look into things, that might give you some hints of places to look. And I mean, that'd be awesome. I'd love to get some help from someone in Villarreal. But it's one of those things, one of those research things where on my list of research stuff to do is kind of a little bit lower on the list. I mean, it's kind of high up, but not like quite up there. So it was one of those things of like, maybe at some point I can do that. Yeah, but that'd be awesome. What period are we talking about? We're talking about 16. This is where we don't know. It would be either 1500s to 1600s, possibly 1400s. So the way this story goes with the Nunez Vaz family is the earliest records we have are of the family in Livorno. And in Livorno, they trace back to the early 1600s. But knowing the history of the Western Sephardic Jews, there were many who were merchants who would kind of go back and forth to different areas. And so I always wondered if this might have been a merchant family, because they weren't really that wealthy, but they weren't poor necessarily, at least the family in Italy. And so if the family in Italy traces back to the I think the earliest record we have is like 1650s, then presumably it would have been early 1600s or sometime in the 1500s or something like that, or earlier. So, the main thing we've looked at is Torre de Tombo, looking for processos. So, okay. Thinking that I always love talking about my own family. So, but let's get into this. Let me check the poll where we're at. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, whoops. The records from 1500 and 1600 are quite incomplete and hard to read. Yeah, that's what I figured. But what I was saying, oh my gosh, Sajuka, very glad to finally return a live stream. Hello to everyone from Ukraine. So happy to hear from you, Sajuka. I was actually kind of worried about you after the last time we had heard from you, which was a while back. A lot had happened, especially with the war, and I was a little bit worried. So very, very happy to see you. Hope everything's going well for you and that you're safe. But wonderful, wonderful to see. I'm very happy to see you in the chat. Okay. Let's end the poll here. So we're going to look into the Roosevelt ancestry, and that could actually work out pretty well for us, because I think with the Roosevelt line it gets into Dutch ancestry, so I might be able to make some use of my Dutch specialty. Let me just pull up everything I need to. Boop-ba-da-boop-boo. So what I might do, I'm going to pull up Genie real quick. Pull up Jeanette. So the Genie tree already built out, kind of cheating. But what I kind of wanted to look at, direct ancestors only. But then we're also going to look at something else. So typical presidential tree of being extremely well built out, because so many people are always so interested in doing that. Because how far back are they in the US? Hardenbrook. Yeah. For a second, I'm just learning Dutch, so for a second when I was scrolling, it looked like it said Heenbroek, which means no pants. At least, or maybe it's Broekneet. I don't know, Broekneet or Heenbroek. If any of my Dutchies are in chat, you can tell me. But yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any lines that I kind of want to focus on first in this. Hardenbrook. I think that's what I want to do. I want to get back there. All right, we'll look at all sorts of stuff. Obviously, because I think one of the fun things about doing these is really just looking at the records and stuff and the photos that people have up. So the Roosevelts. I'm guessing the Library of Congress probably has this photo in a way better quality. So, all right. So we're going to focus on building up. It's going to kind of do this quick. Huh. Didn't realize he had a first wife. Interesting. Yeah, brook means pants or trousers, but if it was no pants, would it be Heenbroek or would it be Broekneet? I'll tell you one thing: the negations are so difficult to figure out in Dutch. But brook also means wetlands. Ah, interesting. I did not know that. Okay, so we're gonna need to fix this. I don't like changing the. I don't like having them in here with the additional parent stuff on Ancestry. Okay, so it would be Heenbroek. Heenbroek. No pence. Portuguese records from 1500s earlier aren't super common or indeed super easy to read. Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. I mean, the place that I know best to find them is Torre de Tumbo, which is this archive right here. So, you can search for, whoops. Going to pull up so much, but let's say, we'll just say 1450 to 1600. So you do get stuff, but yeah, I mean, like, look, dates 1481, 1490. Bunch of empty pages. There we go. So yeah, definitely very difficult to read. Very difficult to read. Can you read that pretty well? Oh yeah, it is in your last name. It isn't Brokema. Pants and wetlands. Oh yeah, that is pretty funny. Pants and wetlands. Yeah. I guess you really wouldn't want your pants to be a wetland, would you? From Wiki Broker, a low-lying area that is permanently wet. This may be due to seepage or due to a river. Oh, I wonder if that's so. Like, in like when we talk about a brook in the U.S. or not the U.S. in English, wonder if that's related. Yeah. Goedenavond, Rob. We were actually just talking about some Dutch, funny enough. Sajuka, thank you for your concern. I'm relatively fine right now. We have an air raid signal, but a few streams were a bit late for me. Yeah, actually, that is true. The last 2 streams I've done have been pretty late. So, yeah. Daniel kept cheating up on the stream. 1.5 Speedy Jarrett. Yeah, hopefully you can understand me. Sometimes I talk a little too fast. Those are actually good. Yeah, that I think you're talking about what I have on screen. It's actually decently legible. Whoever wrote this is decently legible. But yeah, it gets really difficult when it's like quill pen sort of thing. But yeah, okay. So focus on the on building the presidential tree. So I'm just kind of doing a quick going back sort of thing. Yeah, you can definitely see the similarity, I think. So this would be his grandfather. All right. Yeah, Dutch Reformed Church of the U.S., who have pretty good records. So let's see. Why am I not seeing it? Wincoop. I knew someone named Wincoop. Probably the person who did one of the worst betrayals in my life. Wincoop. Not a name I like anymore. All right, so James Roosevelt, Isaac Roosevelt, Maria Walton, Grace Walton. Interesting record. All right, we'll add this, get the parents' names in. Wonder if Maria Walton, same Waltons as Walmart and Sam's Club, aka Sam Walton's family. Her name is Manuela Roosevelt. She's chair of BOD of the Omega Institute. Wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Her name? Okay. Nick Brokema, a lot of place names are based on Brook, Bruxelles, Brussels, and a lot of last names on those place names. Yeah. I've started to learn how to say certain place names in Dutch, and I think some of them are funny, like Belgium is Belgia. I thought that was kind of funny. Belgia. Okay. Dr. Isaac Daniel Roosevelt. Let's see, newspaper extractions from the Northeast. Last evening by Reverend Mr. Bruin, Isaac Roosevelt to Mary Rebecca, daughter of John Aspinall. Coming out of the newspaper. All right. Mary Eliza Walton. Let's see how early. Okay. Probably not going to be a record like that with the parents. So we'll just go ahead and no hints for that. All right. Gonna have to add just a little bit more info. Un poquito. Oh yeah, I wanted to try something again because I know it didn't work out the best last time. Put music on like super low, but just something so when I'm not talking and thinking and clicking through stuff, that it's not completely dead quiet. I don't know. How's that sound, everybody? Not too loud? Decent? Honestly, through my speakers, I can't even hear it unless I turn it up like pretty loud, so hopefully that works. Let's put it there. We're gonna try something little. That song, yeah, just piano. Just some of that piano. Oh, Roosevelt's granddaughter is what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that there's probably a lot of descendants in the family who've done a lot of stuff. A lot of these presidential families and, American royalty families, in a sense, once you get down into the kids and grandkids and stuff, the ones that inherit a lot of the family wealth, especially, I feel, do a lot of that, do a lot of philanthropic, I can't even talk. Philanthropic services, philanthropic stuff, philanthropic. Sounded almost like Charlie Day from Always Sunny. I'm a philan rapist. Philanthropic. All right. Do we want to cheat? I think we will, because I want to get up there into the Dutch records. I want to pull up some Dutch records on the family. Of course, this stuff is different. James Jacobus Roosevelt. Just cheating. Just cheating. All right. The common ancestor of Franklin and Theodore, Claes van Rosenfeld, an obscure Dutchman who landed in New Amsterdam in the 1650s. His only son, Nicholas, was a prosperous miller. He, in turn, fathered two sons, Johannes, the progenitor of the Long Island branch of the family that produced Theodore, and Jacobus, founder of the Hudson Valley strain from which Franklin descended. So James Jacobus, I guess, would then be the sibling from whom Franklin descends from. So let's see, who's Harriet dies 1856. Okay, so I guess a second wife after Marla dies 1810. That's who Susan Barclay Roosevelt must. Yeah. Definitely gonna have to do some cleaning up, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go. Doop-a-doop. Then Isaac Daniel, we need to make it just Marla is his mama. Said, I'm sorry, mama. John Jacob Jingleheimer Roosevelt. That's hilarious. That's great. John Jacob Jingleheimer Roosevelt. That's my name, too. So then I guess Isaac Roosevelt would be the one who's from Amsterdam. Or did I read that wrong? Oh wait, no, I think it was further back. How far back was it? Yeah, who landed in New Amsterdam in the 1650s. Okay. Netherlands genealogy online trees. Yeah. North America Family Histories collection. This is one I always run into with a lot of these trees I'm doing in this series, I find. Although I guess most American family, like if you have a family that has decently deep American roots, basically tracing back to the, I don't know, 1600s in the US, maybe even early 1700s, I feel like you most often find them here. Kathleen Eliza Barclay. Spouse. Okay, it is splitting up. This is adding a lot. This is always risky with Ancestry, adding a lot of stuff like this. Because I just find sometimes with Ancestry, the way it adds stuff, it's just a little too clunky. Like that's a place I think Ancestry could really improve, is how the hint generation adding, like the ignoring and reviewing and all that. Like I feel like that system could be improved with just a few small tweaks. But it's really annoying sometimes with like the find engrave stuff. Or like, with a lot of this stuff where if you add in somebody in a record and it shows a different spouse in that record, like especially if someone remarries and then all of a sudden like 1930 census had the original wife who was the actual mother of those kids, but then 1940 there's a new wife because the original wife died and the kids are shown under that, shown as the children, then it automatically populates that spouse as the biological parent, and you can't edit that. So, yeah. I've seen that dude panning for gold way too much the past couple of weeks. I think everybody on Ancestry agrees with that. Their website has been having so many issues. And I mean, part of it probably is just because they rolled out so many things at once post Roots Tech. And during, it's just like there's so many stuff. And so it's just like they're getting more and more bugs of issues and stuff. And like, yeah, I mean, I bet that guy never expected hundreds of years later, or maybe not even hundreds of years later, but 100 years after that photo was taken of him, that tons of people would feel so much anger every time they looked at him. And for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, or what Muggerock is referencing, on Ancestry, when you run into an issue where it's like you've got to reload the page, it shows this picture of this guy panning for gold. The children are inferred. In those situations, I don't add the new wife when accepting that hint. Yeah, I definitely understand why it's inferred. It's just, I feel like it should be one of those things where you can just click a box and choose. Just like actually when you're adding a person in, like let's say, all right, we'll do it up here if we can do it. We're going to just add in, I don't know. Okay. Well, yeah, here, I'll show. So we're going to add in a spouse, fake, save. But then when we go to add in a son, like there's an option, parents, Isaac Roosevelt and fake, Isaac Roosevelt and Cornelia Hoffman, Isaac Roosevelt and unknown mother. And it just, I wish they would add just a few tweaks of things where, you can actually edit it just enough so that you don't have to go back the long way and edit it like that. So I definitely understand why it's happening like that. I just think that there could be a better user experience. And I'm trying to think of the technical terms they use in the industry for that kind of stuff. But basically, I think they could make the workflow a lot easier, a lot better. So, okay, now we're up to it because, yeah, Hardenbrook. That's how we got talking about the word brook. Brook. Broca. Mein outer broca. My old pants. Or is it, would it be my? Not mine. My. I always like looking at SAR and DAR records. But even oh, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr. FDR Jr.'s application 2 years after the death of his father. That's cool. So, yeah, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Jr. being the age of 31 years, I assume, descending from Isaac Roosevelt. There we go. And then I am the son of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his Anna Eleanor Roosevelt, grandson of James Roosevelt and his wife, Sarah Delano, his second wife. Yeah, so tracing up, that's cool. So FDR's son's application. Name of children, grandchildren: Franklin D. Roosevelt III, born 1937, and Christopher DuPont Roosevelt, 22nd of December, 1941. That's pretty crazy. I didn't realize that. I guess what would that be? 11 days, or wait, December 7th, 15. Okay, almost 2 weeks exactly after Pearl Harbor, Roosevelt had a grandson. I was trying to say Jacobus was the name that would appear in the Dutch records. James is the same name and is equivalent to Jacobus as used in English records. Oh. Okay, let's add this in. We shall add it in. And then I'll probably clean some of this up too. So we're gonna make that clean. And then Jacobus Roosevelt. Now I think we're at the point of, yes. So the family that was Van Amsterdam. De gezin van Amsterdam. De familie. Wait, no, is it het gezin? Het gezin, des gezin. Two of the hardest things I've been learning in Dutch: the negations and whether you use het or de. Okay. So Nicholas is the one born in Amsterdam, I believe. Or in the Netherlands, at least. Or he was born in New Amsterdam. Ah, it's his father, Kleis. Okay. This is where we want. Aha! Het gezin. Het gezin. Goed gaat het. It's so hard to get some of that stuff. My ancestry is through the Stotts family from Gowanus in Brooklyn. Gowanus. All right, yeah, we're gonna do this one. Basically, I just want to get to the point where I can go. So they're from Zealand. Niet Amsterdam. Hun familie van Zeeland. Okay, let's see. Let's see if they already have any connections to like Vivas V or something. Nothing. And there's a Tussenvogel, a Tussenvogel van Roosevelt. Let's do the whole thing. Okay. So there's no actual images. Births. Let's make this easy for everybody. Translate the page. So, or I guess baptisms, not births. Dope. But this is in Amsterdam. So we have okay, the father, Kleis, daughter, kind, child, Anna, and then we have another kind, Elsie. So Elsie and Anna. (1654, 1652). Let's see what people have on this. I'm kind of curious. Do they have all of them? Okay, yeah, they do have Anna and Elsie. Meyer. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. What does Justin Roosevelt get us? Interesting. All right. Let's see what we've got going on with this notarial record, listing a lot of people, including a Dirk van Roosevelt. Obviously, in the archives of Amsterdam, Gemeente Amsterdam Stadsarchief. Yeah, it looks like there's no proof of their Zeeland roots. Yeah. This is that difficult to read. Yeah. 1663. So Google for Hebben de Roosevelt's Velzus roots. Het bewijs is er gewoon niet. Have the Roosevelts any Zeus roots? The bewijs is er gewoon niet. They're not. Yeah. Okay. The origins of Teddy Franklin Roosevelt. Nothing is actually known about his origins, but in the past, he's often been associated with the Van Roosevelt family from Tholen. Later researchers refuted this assumption. The theory that he was a son of the person who bought the Roosevelt farm in 1649, from which the family name was derived, also turned out to be incorrect. Interesting. So that Roosevelt simply referred to a field of roses. Yeah. But rose in many toponyms comes from the Germanic word rausa, meaning rush or reed. But rosa, right? Rose meaning pink. Meaning, okay, they're on the Tholen Kadike. You can indeed imagine a reed or rush field. Roosevelt. We have families with the name Roosevelt and Rosenveld. These could well be derived from the German name Rosenfield. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. So, but we have people that have these presumed parents for this Kleis. Born about 1626 in Holland. Set sail from Amsterdam. There's that Dirk. Yeah. Interesting. So we've got this Kleis. Dies 1659. Okay. So we see nothing for this Kleis, really. Volkert Cornelius. Nothing Martin. We got more, a lot of marriage records, another baptism. Volkert Cornelius. So, but when did they arrive in 1649? So we'd need prior 1640s. Oh, you know what? I want to try. We're going to try this. Transcribas. Yeah. Volkert Cornelius. Just wish they had the okay. So we've got 1680s. Van Roosevelt. Volkert Cornelius Van Roosevelt. Als man Ende wordt van Maria Wachtmans. What was the... See, okay, so we have the father of Kleis, they indicate, is this Martin Corneliusm. Let's look at one of these. Let's look at one of these trees that claims this stuff. This one's got a lot connected to it too. Yeah, what's their proof? Other family trees. I wonder if we could even find anything for. See, that doesn't make sense either. 16 dies in New Amsterdam 1629 when his son. I guess that's possible. I don't know. It seems questionable. Okay, let's go back. So I think there'd be a question too. I mean, I don't think that it'd be the same guy. Okay, let's. He's nothing really that earlier. Actually, let's do. Nothing. Okay. All right, so the first years we actually get Volkert. So this Volkert is very prominent in the family, obviously. So here we have baptism for his son Antony. He's the father, married to Maria Wachtmans. Then we have Maria, 1654. Would this be his daughter? Maria van Roosevelt marrying Francois Adrian's Peak. This is one of those ones where it's like, it's kind of funny, like how it's, Francois Adrian Peak, and then everything else is written so differently. The way this is written, honestly, that looks so like modern sort of style writing, but it's like just that one part, like somebody wrote that in. Beautiful signature though, and both of them are signing. But with Maria, I guess, what is that? Mutter Maria Haupt. Mutter Maria Haupt with her mother. Wait, no. Not Hun. Methar Mutter Maria Haupt something. So my guess is, or Wacht. So it is, because we know from up here with Volkert, with Maria Wachtmans. Oh, that's probably what it says, Maria Wachtmans. So, and then we have son Antony, who we had his whatever right there. So, I mean, definitely not in Amsterdam, but nothing seems to indicate Amsterdam necessarily. They seem to indicate Geldersland. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it like that. Here's okay, yeah, that's good. There we go. This Volkart Cornelis. This must be about the wedding because his wife is Maria Wachtmans, and then we see a whole bunch of his husband and wife of Maria Wachtmans. Okay, yeah. Petronella's Knight Wachtmans. Petronella Wachtmans. That's so funny. And the heir is one of the late Antonio Wachtmans. Interesting. Okay, Sendricus Willem Frederikus van Roosevelt. My hope is we might see something that relates to, like, Roosevelt's in New Amsterdam or something like that. All right, so this seems to be a notarial record dealing with a Roosevelt. President. Heir of Peter Cornelis Roosevelt and Gertje Dirk in her living in real life. So this is 1668. So the biggest question being, I guess, really, can we link this? Not really. Wait. Claes Mars. Now, could that be Claes Martins van Roosevelt? I mean, this is after his death. Soldier Klaus Roosevelt marries in Groningen in 1667 with Christina Coors, maybe a cousin. Yeah, maybe that's who they're talking about here. I mean, it doesn't say Claes Martins Roosevelt, but I mean, it's certainly possible that they're still talking about it. They just, for whatever reason, don't mention his last name, I guess because it's assumed. Let's go back to where we last. How cool would that be if we actually ended up doing some sort of big breakthrough in the Roosevelt family on just a, whatever sort of stream? Not that it's a whatever stream, but you all know what I mean. Okay, let's see. I think I need to reset that. I went back too far to apply. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Dirk. Sendricus Willem Frederikus van Roosevelt. Abraham Robert van Roosevelt. Was this what we looked at before? No, this wasn't the same record we looked at before. But this is 18. I mean, this is definitely a much more recent, by Abraham Robert Van Roosevelt. Appeared in order to enter into a marriage. Okay, so this is like a Who Leaks register sort of thing. This is like the marriage registers. Because to do like the civil marriage registry, I mean, what is this? Is this pre 1811 though? No, this is post 1811. Yeah, this looks like the stuff out of the North Holland Archive. What year is this supposed to be? So either way, I think that's too. All right, let's so let's do that. Let's do like root far back to apply. Okay, never mind. CBG Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin Delano Roosevelt sein Nachkommlichen van Klaas Martens van Roosevelt die in 1649 de Oversteek. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take out the back, the Tussenbuckle. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, there is a possibility with it being this far back that while they possibly did come from Holland or Zealand or somewhere in the Netherlands, there just might not be enough records, or the records might not be strong enough to correlate well enough to find them. I think it's a little surprising, though, for Dutch records. I feel like a lot of Dutch records you get a lot more. But I mean, here we've got Klaas Roosevelt Soldats. This is the marriage that you were talking about. This is what Neek was talking about, 1667. So. Yeah. So yeah, let's. Okay. Doesn't really change much. Peter Roosevelt. Actually, definitely not going to be able to translate this very easily. This is some of that 17th century writing that's just a little too difficult. Can be done, but lots of work. So even adding in a little bit of whatever didn't really. Roosevelt. Let's take a quick look. So it's through Nicholas's sons. So let's see. So we have Jacobus, and then we have Johannes. So we're going to build Johannes down. Oh, I mean, don't checked out just over an hour. Yeah. If it was something in the indexes, the Amsterdam archive, it would have been found long ago. Yeah, true. Very true. I'm sure it would be. But when I was looking at Transcribus, that's very new. I mean, the notarial records are probably one of the hardest record sets I'd imagine to go through because there's just so many of them. So that would be the place I'd imagine a lot of stuff could be overlooked. But yeah, no, I mean, that's why I was saying before, how funny would it be if we actually did break through this wall just by looking online? But you know, it'd be funny because it's doubtful that would happen. So, you know, that's kind of more of where I was thinking of it. Okay, so that's funny how that comes out like that. Okay, so wait. Okay. Okay, so 2 Jacobuses. Kind of funny. Stranger things have happened. Very true, Alan. Very, very true. Netherlands Baptism Index. It's kind of funny. Alvert Jacobus. What's that? Oh, wait. Did I just screw it up? I think I added stuff in a little too quickly. we're going to go and look at the tree to clean this up real quick. Delete. Delete. Okay, so I think it's Jacobus. Basically, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build down to Teddy Roosevelt at this point. I believe it is through Jacobus. So I was just adding stuff in a little too quick. Okay. James Jacobus Roosevelt. Now notice, two separate ones, but it is the same thing. And this, sorry, let me explain myself a bit more. Sometimes people will see the same record twice in Ancestry, but it's just the same record set, just slightly different. So there's this record set, Global Find a Grave Index for burials at sea and other burial locations. And then there's just the U.S. Find a Grave Index 1600. So it's the same thing. And you have to be careful sometimes with this stuff because you'll see, if you get too used to like, oh, okay, yeah, I know it can come up twice. Sometimes you'll accidentally add in one that someone added in the wrong. James Jacobus Roosevelt just happened to be the same name and died similar years and times. So you just have to check it. So, yeah, just something to mention, I guess. Worth mentioning. Doop. Get those added in. And once we get that added in, Cornelius, I believe, is the grandfather of Teddy Roosevelt. So, yeah, all right, let's add in here. So Teddy Roosevelt's father, Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt. Roosevelt's of Oyster Bay. Which I think the very interesting thing about that is that I've had been doing a good amount of research in Oyster Bay for a bit because of Max Miller's family ties there. And if you didn't see the Max Miller episode I did of YouTuber Family Trees, definitely go check that out. And then you can actually go check out Max Miller's video about oysters, an oyster recipe, which is inspired by the research I had done in finding his family's connection to oysters. So, okay, here we go. Teddy Roosevelt. Not quite as good of a photo, but all right. add in this, and then obviously his son being the famous president. Not gonna worry about that. Not gonna worry about that. Theodore Roosevelt. Let's do this one. Official White House portrait. Actually, funny enough, speaking of official White House portraits, we're going to add in Theodore Roosevelt's, and then we're going to go add in Franklin Roosevelt's. And for Franklin Roosevelt's, I actually have a very close tie to this because the official portraits of Franklin Delano Roosevelt were largely done by the Persky family. Mostly Jacob Persky, a famous photographer who comes from the Persky family of the Alliance Colony, where my family was a part of that as well, the Alliance Colony. And the Perskys, their founding family member of Alliance in New Jersey was Eliezer Persky, who's buried next to my third great grandmother in the Alliance Cemetery, Rebecca Ecoff. And even funnier than that is that I graduated from high school in North Carolina. I went to a small school, only had like a little over 400 people. My graduating class was a graduating class of 101. And one of those people in that graduating class in North Carolina was one of the descendants of the Persky family. And both of our ancestors had come to New Jersey from Russia in 1882 and landed together in this area in New Jersey where it was literally just woods and trees and all that. And they like built their entire lives. And Jacob Persky, I think he was either the son or the grandson of Eliezer Persky. And then his son, Leon Persky, I believe it is, would take the last official FDR portrait. And so for a lot of these portraits, these are actually by Jacob Persky. And if you go to, here we go, the FDR library, they literally have a whole post about Leon Persky coming to take his portrait for the 1944 campaign. And so last week I was in Alliance, was at the gravestone of Eliezer Persky, left a stone, but you can see this here was done by Leon Persky. This is his portrait from 1944. So we're going to add that in. So just a fun little addition, the Persky family from Alliance. And you can even see, do they have the quote here? Yeah. When Jacob Persky died in 1941, Roosevelt telegrammed his widow that I've heard with deep regret of the great sorrow which has come to you in the passing of your devoted husband, who is my faithful friend. So very close tie between Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Alliance Colony where my family from. And here we can see how FDR and Teddy Roosevelt are fifth cousins, tracing up their lines all the way back to Nicholas Van Rosenvelt. And so with that, I think we're going to stop the stream here. I think that's a pretty good end point. I guess, obviously I'm not going to stop right away. So if anyone has questions or anything, let me know. But maybe we'll do some more FDR stuff on some of the other lines in 2 weeks when I do another main channel video, or maybe we'll do something else. I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh yeah, you need to put in Eleanor's Teddy's niece. Yeah, which Eleanor's father was Elliot, right? Oh, that's right. He dies 1894. So, okay, we're going to do it this way. Is he married by 18? No, he wasn't married by 1880. All right, we're just going to do it the fast and easy way. We're going to cheat. What can I say? I can't help it. Sometimes I just got to cheat. This actually might be a good little lesson for people on if you're trying to do a multi-connection in Ancestry. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Basically, what I mean is, so we've added in Eleanor. Of course, it goes. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here we have Eleanor Roosevelt. Anna, Eleanor. We're going to edit that for sure. So how do we add the spouse? Well, it's actually quite easy. Add spouse, but what you're going to do is choose someone from your tree. Obviously, we know it's Franklin, so we save that. And now we have the proper connections in the tree for Ancestry. And so we see Anna here, Franklin. So it's the same profiles in the tree. So I know that's something a lot of people have kind of some difficulty with figuring out in Ancestry. So there you go. There we go. How's that, Alan? How's that? We've got it connected. Wunderbar. Wonderful. Good. So yeah. So got that all good. Thanks. Excellent. And then hopefully I'm getting the main channel video out soon. I've been working so much on it. I've been having a lot of trouble really getting stuff done. I'm sure a lot of folks have noticed that I've been putting out that many videos like I was saying I would after I quit my job. I just, so much I'm doing. Part of the problem is I think I promise a little too much sometimes. Thinking of using DNA Angels for help. Have you worked with them before? Excuse me. I have not worked with DNA Angels. I know I've seen their company around. Let's see if I recognize any of them. I don't recognize any of them that they list, but let's see if I recognize anybody. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with them, so I can't really say whether or not they're good. The thing is you just need to kind of take a look at, their track record and, see if people have testimonials and stuff for them. The group that I'm familiar with, that I worked with was searchangels.org. But then again, even then, I feel like with the different company, like with Search Angels, they had a lot of genealogists working with them. And there was a big variety of experience with some people who were, kind of just at that point of, being able to help others, but still kind of stumbling along. And then others that have tons and tons and tons of experience under their belt. They've, done lots and lots of various types of ancestral backgrounds. And, that's one of the other things too, is sometimes it's not necessarily as much of the company, but what type of ancestry that you're looking at, which obviously if you're looking at a DNA Angel, might be a lot more question about it. But, you do your DNA admixture and you get an idea of that to then help you, figure out what type of research might be better. If you find that you do a DNA test and you get, 90% Ashkenazi Jewish, you probably want to find someone who has a lot of experience with Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry, because if they don't have that, they may run into a lot of issues that they just don't quite know how to solve. And then, quite the opposite. Let's say you do it and you end up getting, tons of Asian ancestry or, stuff that whatever, where it might lead you to, okay, I should find someone who specializes in this. So, if there's someone at DNA Angels that's standing out to you because of something like that, go with it. But yeah, I can't speak anything directly to them because I have not worked with them. Quakers, where I'm thinking, so one thing you can do, AP Gen, the Association of Professional Genealogists, they have a directory where you can find all sorts of genealogists. And so, Quaker, and boom, you get lots of people. Catherine Andrew is someone that I actually know quite well. She runs KKK, sorry, KKA. She does not run KKK. I'm sorry. She a KKA genealogy. And you can see why I said it, because it's, okay. Anyway, but she's a really great genealogist. I've hung out with her at a couple of different conferences. But just be honest, you got these folks here that list experience with Quakers. So lots of ways that you can go in finding a genealogist to help you. Now, I'm not 100% sure with DNA Angels if I would assume that DNA Angels, they specialize in search angel. Yeah. So helping adoptees. Are you searching for biological family? So unknown parentage. So not even necessarily adoptees. Maybe you had a father that was unknown, or maybe you did a DNA test and the person who thought was your father or your grandparent or something, you figured it out, or you need to help figure it out. So like I actually just recently, I've been working for years and years and years to figure out my aunt's biological family. So she had actually been super into genealogy when I was young, passed away in 2002 when I was still young. I was about 15 years old. At that point I was kind of into genealogy, but not super in depth. But she had figured out who her mother was through traditional research, but never could figure out who her father was. I spent years and years trying to figure it out. And finally, just recently, like literally the other day within this week, I figured it out. And it took so many years, tons of testing, getting my cousins to test in different places. And now we have it figured out. And it's awesome, but it took a lot of work. And so that's really where like DNA search angels or DNA angels or search angels, or however you want to call it, that's where they specialize. So if you're really looking for something unknown, that may be a way to go. But with the caveat of search angels kind of specialize, I think, more in more recent adoption. So, parents and grandparent adoption, like if your parents were adopted, you'll probably get help with search angels. If your grandparents were adopted, you might end up getting a little bit lower on the list, at least if it's a volunteer search angel situation. Usually they focus on kind of more recent stuff. You actually said it. Yeah. So unknown great grandfather. So grandparent had an unknown parents is what you're saying. So you might be able to find search angels to take a hold of that case. Might be a little bit harder just because I feel like a lot of them try to focus more on parents or grandparents or kind of situations where you can actually link living family members that it's going to really matter a lot. Matt Fast, who's the oldest person you found in your own tree? Oldest known person. So basically, what's the furthest back that I've traced in my tree? And that's kind of hard to answer because I trace into the royal family tree. And once you trace into the royal family tree, then you hit a family tree that just goes back and back and back, basically up until the furthest known ancestor that, is proven without a doubt. Because a lot of these trees get into points where, you can find records or books saying that this is the case, but there's not enough correlating evidence to make it a confident thing. So I don't quite know what I couldn't really tell you what it would be. I couldn't tell you. I can tell you my most recent known royal ancestor, which then you can just look at their ancestry and go back and back and back. But my most recent royal ancestor is Juan Alonso Pimentel de Herrera. I forgot exactly what it is. Let's see if I can pull it up. I want to say he's like my 7th great grandfather or something like that. But he was the 5th Duke of Benevente. And okay, let's see. Oh, he's my 11th great grandfather. I was way off on that. So this is how I trace up to him. Now this person being listed as father, that actually I'm kind of surprised to see that. Someone must have gone in and put that in, and they really shouldn't, because his father is unknown, or his son is unknown. Basically, the way we know that I descend from him is this David Enriquez Pimentel, who was in Amsterdam. We have cartas, which I think oh, they're not here. Oh wait, oh, you know what? Let's see if it's in the discussion. No, okay. We have records, it's probably going to be linked here, basically saying that David Enriquez Pimentel's son Isaac can use the coat of arms of the House of Pimentel because he is a descendant. Maybe it's listed with Isaac. I know we linked it at some point. There we go. So this is probably one of the not as good versions of this. Yeah, I can't even really scroll around. But basically, you can kind of see. Here we go. Juan Alonso Pimentel, and it basically just kind of goes into saying that he is the grandfather of David Enriquez Pimentel. And because of this information, and this is coming from the court of Portugal at the time, that this, David Enriquez Pimentel's descendants can use officially the coat of arms of the House of Pimentel. And then it goes into like all this crazy stuff, including, which is really difficult to read here, but it lists the family members who kept a hold of this record. It's been kept in one line of the family. Who still have the Enriquez Pimentel name today in Amsterdam. So this is that proof for that. So kind of interesting. So yeah. Everybody does descend from Charlemagne, or the best way to say it really is everybody who has any sort of European ancestry within the past couple hundred years at the very least. This definitely descend from Charlemagne. I think there's probably a question of whether everyone in the world does. But if you watch that one video I did a while back, which was a collaboration with Mr. Beat and Matt Baker from Useful Charts, which was why all the presidents are related and you are too. And it kind of goes into some of the math and some of the like scientific research they've done in genetics in terms of how recently everyone's related. And from what I remember, it said basically every single person who was alive 1,000 years ago in Europe, who then had descendants who had a continued descendancy up until today, basically every single person who was alive 1,000 years ago, if they had any living descendants who had a continuing line, every single descendant of European ancestry descends from them. Or it's like some sort of weird thing. Basically, if you go back 1,000 years, the entire population that was Europe that then had living descendants continuing on, they represent all of the European ancestry that everyone with European ancestry has. It's so hard to explain without having it like written out or something. But yeah, go watch that video and I go into it. But then like if you go back 2,000 years, I think it was like if you go back 2,000 years, everyone in the world is related to or like descends for I forgot what it was. And it's really interesting. But basically all you have to do to find a connection, at least everybody else in the world, is go back at least 2,000 years, and you'll have at least one ancestor that you're related to at least everybody else, or something like that. I might be saying that wrong, but yeah. Let's see. Daniel M. I've traced out 60 of my 64 known ancestors at that level. So your fourth great grandparents, they're all from within a 40-kilometer radius of where my parents were born. Wow, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, my tree is well rooted. No Frenchy roots detected. That's funny. So, all right. Well, I think with that, I'm going to end this stream here. Just a little over an hour and a half. Not too bad. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Next week, we'll be back on the reaction channel to do more answering questions on Reddit and all of that stuff. So if you have questions you'd like me to answer, be sure to go post them on my Reddit. Also go to the Reddit and upvote all the posts that you think should be answered. If you haven't checked out my Discord, definitely check out the Discord. Lots of cool stuff going on there. And especially if you need help or want help from other people in your own genealogy or interpreting DNA results or whatever, a lot of people in there that know a lot of about what they're doing. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back on the main channel doing a live stream, and maybe I'll continue doing the FDR family tree. Maybe we'll go off and do something else. I don't know. We'll have to see. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. You have a wonderful rest of your Friday, wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week.